What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and a few months ago, actually almost like a year ago at this point, it feels like a few months, but it's basically been a year, we talked about a new system that was supposed to come to the Fortnite crew, which was going to allow you to have a temporary selection of cosmetics that you would be able to use on your account as long as you were subscribed to the crew. This wouldn't be battle pass things or OG rare items, but instead it would be stuff that you would typically see in like a 30-day rotation in the item shop, and what Epic Games would be doing is just slowly rotating this every single month based on what is eligible to be used in your locker. So you would essentially have different randomized cosmetics that you could use in your Fortnite account every month that you're subscribed to the Fortnite crew. However, those same cosmetics would leave the actual locker when the new month actually rotates out in order to make space for whatever new cosmetics they do afterwards. Despite this feature being something that has been leaked back in 2023 or 2024, it never ended up releasing in the game. And it was something that, you know, they called the locker lineup. They also called it temporary cosmetics. It had an icon with a timer inside of it for the Fortnite crew little like crown logo, and it just kind of vanished. You know, it was a leak that they never ended up using in the game. However, it's recently returned, but this time around it's not going to be a benefit that you're able to actually get with the Fortnite crew, and instead it requires you to be in Korea and go to a PC cafe. As you guys may or may not know, back in 2018-2019, Epic Games had an open beta for South Korean servers, and you had a few benefits you could get by going to PC cafes over in Korea. If you went to a cafe in Korea, you were able to actually get a quest line that gave you the Embers Contrail. It also gave you, I think, like 250 V-Bucks, I could be wrong there, and of course some XP in order to actually level up and complete your battle pass. Before, the system actually gave you battle stars and XP because you used to have battle stars in order to actually level up stuff instead of that being tied to your level, but then they reworked it to actually just give you like 100,000 XP per completion of a quest, and it was simple stuff like loot chest, open up, you know, ammo boxes, go to named locations, that type of stuff. However, it ended up canceling their whole open beta thing later down the line. You know, you couldn't really play Fortnite in Korea as far as I'm aware unless you use like the official normal servers that we use. It was similar to like a Fortnite China situation where technically they don't have Fortnite anymore, but some people in China still find ways to play the normal version of Fortnite that me and you play without having that China restriction. But that's the whole entire point of this. Fortnite has kind of been advertising the fact that Fortnite is returning to Korea. They've been mentioning a pre-register link where if you go there, you're able to actually get the Adventure Pilly skin entirely for free just for pre-registering. Now, I'm not for sure if you can do that outside of Korea. You know, I have heard people trying to do it in the United States, but I haven't heard much luck from that, so most likely you're not going to be able to get access to the free Adventure Pilly skin that was sold in the item shop before, and you're most likely going to have to go through the old system of just buying it in the shop instead of trying to get it for a discount. However, when they worked on bringing back Fortnite in Korea and, you know, advertising it and all this type of stuff, some interesting things got noticed in the files where they re-added PCB benefits. Now, if you don't know what PCB is, that was the internal name they used for PC cafes in Korea, the same ones that gave you those free contrails, the free V-Bucks, the free XP to level up in your battle pass just for playing the game at a PC cafe. And they reworked that old locker lineup system that we had leaked, and I just double checked, it was actually leaked in 2023, not 2024, and they made it a PC Korea cafe benefit, meaning that if you're in Korea, you play Fortnite and you log in on a PC cafe with your normal account, you'll have access to a temporary lineup of items and cosmetics that you'll be able to use that rotates every single month. So it's basically that exact same system that originally was going to be for the Fortnite crew, and instead it's being reworked now, a few years later, to be a benefit that is going to be for PC players in Korea going to these cafes. It makes sense because all the benefits we had before, such as, you know, the free Contrail, the Embers one, and all that other stuff that they kind of had going on down there in Korea, you know, even I think they got like a XP boost or like a buff whenever they were playing. All that stuff is not a reward anymore. It's not a free benefit for actually playing at a PC cafe in Korea, and instead their new benefit that they're actually doing to kind of keep that system alive is the scrap system that we saw before relating to just, you know, having free temporary cosmetics. Now, how this will work is that whenever you go in your locker, you'll see a little bit of like a timer next to one of these skins or one of the pickaxes or whatever else they're giving you for free for that month, and it'll mention that you'll have access to that cosmetic to use until the end time of that actual month or whatever in the item shop or in the locker. It will tell you the exact end date there as well whenever you hover over it, and it will be something where it's like, if you want to keep this cosmetic, make sure to purchase it when it rotates into the item shop, if it does of course, before it actually gets removed, so that you can use it forever. It's kind of like a free trial of skins, but in this case it's a free trial of skins that require you to go outside and socialize, or I guess not, but you know, go outside in Korea to a actual PC cafe. Now, based on how the system was going to work back in 2023, it appears that what happens if you have one of these cosmetics equipped, like let's say they put like Renegade Raider as one of the free items you're able to use for a month, if that month rotates out and you still had that skin actually equipped on your character, what they're going to do is they're not just going to, you know, allow you to continue using the skin because, oh, he had it equipped, you know, we don't want to take it from him. No, they're just going to turn you into a default skin or a default pickaxe, you know, one of the default items in the games when that cosmetic actually rotates out. And for example, for like a back bling, when they rotate that out, if you had a back bling equipped that you didn't actually own, you would just have no back bling equipped, because no back bling is technically the default for Fortnite when it comes to the cosmetic system. So it is something that's interesting to see them bring back, but it is interesting to see how it was originally going to be a pretty cool Fortnite crew benefit that now they're just like, you know what, it's still not going to be a Fortnite crew benefit, but we'll go ahead and give it to PC cafes in Korea. The only reason I can think for them to actually doing this is because of the fact that when they had the beta, those PC cafe benefits existed in Korea to begin with, so maybe it's like a, hey, you know, it's exactly how we left it, you know, the benefits have changed since it's been so many years, but you still have access to actually going ahead and using some type of benefit to promote you actually going out there and going to a PC cafe and, you know, maybe trying to go pro or something, because there has been statistics before, back all the way in like 2019 or whatever else, regarding Fortnite really not being that popular in Korea. It's not even like in the top 10, of course, you know, since they haven't really had like an open full beta or whatever else that you're able to play since 2019. It makes a little bit more sense, but it is just an interesting situation overall, and it makes me wonder, what if this Korean PC cafe benefit is a new test for the temporary locker lineup system that was for the Fortnite crew? What if they eventually fully move it over to the Fortnite crew as well, because that's what it was originally intended for, and they obviously have the full system in place if they're going to be re-adding it to the files and making it a benefit in the game. But until next time, I hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Let me know what you think about the upcoming system they're doing with Fortnite Korean PC cafes. Do you think it's interesting that they only do it also with like Korean cafes, because, you know, other places actually do have PC cafes as well, but these benefits have only ever been focused on the Korean side of things and never any of the other locations it could possibly be? And until next time, I'll catch you champs and champions a little bit later with another upload. So like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, and peace out.